Props to the principal, collegiate coloring, and tradition with a T. All this and more as the Stafford Weekly News starts now. Welcome to the Friday, May 26th edition of the Stafford Weekly News. I'm Randall Williams. We've told you before about various days appreciating various roles at SMSD, and as the year closes out, it's only appropriate that the chief of each school is honored with Principal Appreciation Day.
It's School Principal Appreciation Day, and we want to surprise Hines for School Principal Appreciation as a school. So we're going to go and sneak and ambush her in her office because she doesn't know that we're planning this. And then after she gets interviewed, all of the students will be in the gym to surprise her with signs and lots of love for School Principal Appreciation Day. Anybody that knows Ms. Hines knows she goes all out completely all out for everyone. So we wanted to I know for Counselor's Appreciation, it was my first one, and she showed me a lot of love. So I wanted to make sure everybody comes together and give a nice gesture to her for her day, because she deserves it.
Where you have her from? I had it on to make me get, so I took it off.
Got you.
Oh, you make me.
Ain't being filmed right now.
How you have his contact information? You supposed to go through me.
I would say hands down, she's the best. She goes all out. She makes sure she's very accommodating. She always has an open door policy, so I love her being my boss. She's a cool boss to have.
A little bit embarrassed because I'm not the type of person that really, talks about what I do or likes to highlight myself. So, but I do find joy in seeing the little gifts and tokens that the students are bringing me, and it warms my heart to let me know that I am appreciated. I think that just that humbleness and just my family, my mom specifically, was just always just a hard worker, and so I think that's just where I get it from. I like to work. I enjoy what I do, and I don't do it for the recognition, so I don't ever look for that. But I find pleasure and joy in providing that for other people and providing a positive environment and experiences and opportunities for other people. That's what gives me joy. When I see them happy and engaged and excited about being at work or coming to school, that's what makes me happy. Everybody!
She's hands-on. I think that she actually kind of overshadows herself and doesn't put a lot of acknowledge herself too much, because great leaders do that. They work from behind the scenes. They'll just get everything done. That's much like how she does. She'll work with us and make sure things are done, whatever we need her to do. So it's our turn to kind of show her that we appreciate everything she's been doing for us all year.
It does bring value to what I do when others can see the effort. So like I said, I am appreciative, of when others take the time to handwrite the cards, and the kids are making little drawings and things. So that does let me know that I am having an impact on their life. So yes, it warms my heart. It's like I'm on program. What I'm supposed to do now? Sing? One word I would use to describe myself, and I guess in all areas, is passionate. I'm very passionate about what I do. As a principal, just as an African American female, as a mother, as a leader, I'm an advocate, and so I stick up for my staff. I stick up for my parents, for the kiddos, and I feel like that's what helps push them and what helps keep us going. And the answers I get when I have to be passionate, like with admin or advocate for something, it's not always a yes, but sometimes it is. And so the teachers and students a lot of times may not have some of the things that they need if I didn't assert some of that passion and advocacy for them. So, I think that's me.
As another school year comes to a close, it's only natural that a lot of simmering rivalries come to a head. Don't worry, we're not talking about violence. We're talking about the teachers versus students basketball game. And John King brings us the score.
We had our third annual teacher-student basketball game against the former basketball players that just finished from 8th grade, and we end up coming out with another victory once again. It's always important just to build a camaraderie with the kids at the end of the school year. Start testing is over with, so we try to bring a little bit more excitement as the end of the year goes on. Each year it's been better. I think last year might have been our closest, but this year we ended up winning, I think, by 16. Last year we won by 2. So even though the score is a little bit out of whack, but it still gets better every year. It's always good to blow off steam because they talk trash all year. So once we get a chance to have this game, it's always fun.
Color My World, next.
In Stafford, diversity is not just a number, it's who we are.
When you are here, you become part of the story.
You can sleep well knowing we're always on the job and looking out for you.
It's a great place for growth and opportunity.
Tradition starts here.
We teach your children and we stick around for your grandchildren.
We are one
We are Stafford.
This is the city of Stafford, and we are one.
We're often told life's simple pleasures are the best, and it turns out those are also the best at stress relief. For example, coloring, as practiced by HCC. Stress is an unfortunate fact of modern life, and if you're a college student, its effects can be magnified, especially around exam time. Fortunately, HCC has trained professionals that can help alleviate that stress, and one way is very simple: coloring.
We are trying to engage our students here at the West Loop Center. When we did a survey, we noticed that many of the students documented they were having problems with depression and anxiety. So I started to think, let's find a simple, easy way for the students to be able to process those negative feelings as well as engage them here on campus. So we came up with the event, Let's Color. And we all, at some point, used to color as children, right? So I said, come out, color, have fun, have some snacks, and just decompress. And this is an example of how we cope with our difficult feelings. Some are a little confused. They're like, why are we coloring? But once they start coloring, they start having fun. I notice they are engaging with each other because we do want those positive connections. And also with the snacks, they want to eat. So it's a way of just coming together and having fun and to let students know that we really care about them.
For HCC Beat, this is Randall Williams. Picture this next.
You can try, but you won't find another city like Stafford, Texas.
Serving our community just like you like it.
Taking care of you and your home since 1945.
We believe in STEM to learn and STEM to earn.
We're heading into college certified and career ready.
As a former student of Stafford, I take pride in keeping our classrooms safe.
We are Stafford, we are one.
Tradition runs strong through every culture, and one tradition that mixes strictness with mindfulness is the Japanese tea ceremony. Fort Bend County Libraries hosted a demonstration to celebrate Asian American Heritage Month.
So Japan American Society of Houston, JASH, is non-profit organization, and we provide various opportunities to introduce Japanese culture and connect American people and Japanese people through our program, include language and art and culture and business program. Today, we introduce Japanese tea ceremony to the community. with Showing Japan, our big collaborator.
So Showing Japan, we're a group of volunteers, mostly Japanese ladies. We started way back in the 1980s. They wanted to share Japanese culture with Houston and also give the Japanese community who were here for work an opportunity to reconnect with other Japanese people. So we do demonstrations all around the greater Houston area. So that was actually probably the most basic tea ceremony. We really tried not to slim it down any. The only difference is if there are more guests, you extend the time of making it. And if they're actually conversing between drinking, it takes more time. But for this style, where communicating with each other isn't the point, drinking the tea is the point, this is. Host doesn't want to prepare the tea before the guests are ready to drink it. So she has to be aware of if they are ready. Have they eaten their sweets yet? Are they calm and prepared to meditate over their tea? And she also has to be aware of the utensils she's using. Is the water properly boiled? Is the tea prepared the way she wants it to be? When she's whisking the green tea powder, is it creating the bubbles that she wants? She has to be extremely mindful of everything happening around her. So it really depends on the person. You know, if they are excited about tea ceremony or their family has started, they can start probably as soon as 2 or 3 years old. Basically, as soon as you can hold that tea bowl without spilling it everywhere, you are old enough for tea ceremony. The only next requirement is, can you sit still long enough for the ceremony to complete? Obviously, when you're training, they're not expected to be completely perfect, but if you were like me at 2 years old, you're not sitting still for more than 30 seconds and you're not ready. So as soon as you're ready for those 2 requirements, you are ready for tea ceremony if you are interested in that form of meditation.
We provide a lot of variety of the Japanese culture art business program, so please visit our website jah-hou.org, or you can visit our social media, Japan American Society of Houston.
These days, you can get a pretty good fast photo using your phone, but really great pictures require equipment and knowledge. Recently, an experienced photographer shared some tips.
We're going to cover what you really need to do to prepare for a photography trip. I don't know how many people have traveled the world or even gone to High Island, but on any photography trip, you need to decide which lenses you're going to need, what camera bodies, make sure that you've got enough flash cards for the photos that you're going to take, and in general, just be better prepared. And then I've got examples that I'm going to show people of the different photos, beginning at High Island, Port Aransas, so that they're from the Texas area, and then we're going to broaden it out into waterfall type pictures, reflections, wildlife, bears, raptors, pictures that I've taken all over the world. I've been taking pictures since college, so 50 years. I hate to give away how old I am, but in college it was learning from the darkroom, still taking pictures with film, developing the pictures myself, and then gradually branched out, particularly after the kids were off on their own. Took some classes at Rocky Mountain School of Photography in Missoula, Montana, and have been enjoying taking pictures ever since. I probably have a library of close to 60,000 pictures. If you go to the right location and you're properly prepared, the animals are going to generally cooperate. An example would be High Island. You want to go during nesting season. The birds don't care about you, you can pretty much get right on top of the birds to take pictures of them. And the same is true of wildlife, like the picture of the bear that I have displayed. We were sitting on 5-gallon buckets by a stream where the salmon were making their last run, and the bears could have cared less about us. So it's just being in the right environment and picking the right time where the animals are going to be comfortable with where you're shooting your pictures. Hopefully I'll give them an idea of the different camera settings that they need to be proficient with if they want to get pictures of animals moving about. I hate pictures of what I call bird on a stick. I like to see a story being told where there's interaction between the birds, or if it's a bear, where it's feeding, or maybe you see two bears or a cub that's cuddling with its mother. Those tell a story, and that's what I hope they take away from it today, is how to take pictures that tell a story. I think if they were to join a camera club like Fort Bend Photography Club, they would listen to different lectures other than just mine, and would pick up techniques from all the other photographers that they might meet, and by watching what others are doing and learning from those other photographers, they'll advance much quicker.
Railroads and music just seem to go together, and that's because so much of their history is intertwined. Fernando Ramirez rode the rails to Rosenberg's Railroad Museum to tune us in.
The exhibit is about how railroads have shaped American popular music and the American music industry. The exhibition starts off with Joseph K. Cuckoo inventing the steel guitar. So a lot of people know about the steel guitar and the pedal steel guitar. It's like the foundational instrument in American country music. Joseph K. Cuckoo, a native Hawaiian teenager, invented that instrument in the 1890s. There are a lot of stories about how he invented it. But the main story is that he was walking along the railroad tracks. He saw a railroad spike and he picked it up and he began running it up and down the fretboard of his guitar while he played, and he loved the sound. Trains allowed people to travel much faster and much farther than they could before, so this is really important. So this allowed people with new ideas like K. Cuckoo to go to the mainland United States and travel the country popularizing his new instrument and his new ideas. He traveled on rail. So new ideas, innovation, artistic innovation could travel. Artists could hear sounds that they never normally would have heard, and it's all because it was brought to them on trains. The people could travel great distances at great speeds that they couldn't before. So railroads played a big part in shaping blues and jazz, and in many different ways. So one of them is the legendary Chicago blues and jazz scenes. These came about because in the 1910s the Great Migration started, and this involved many African Americans moving from the south to the north. One of the major north-south train routes was New Orleans to Chicago. As a result of this, many African Americans stopped and settled in Chicago. This included jazz legends like Jelly Roll Morton and Louis Armstrong, and also Mississippi blues legends like Muddy Waters, and gave rise to this really vibrant musical scene that was created in Chicago. The connection between Fort Bend County and railroads and American popular music is a huge one, and I just kind of fell into that. I've been a Huddie Ledbetter fan my entire life. One of the first songs I remember singing as a kid was Goodnight Irene. One of the most famous American songs about trains is the Midnight Special. Conditions in the Sugarland prison in the 1920s were apparently really tough. So there was a belief among the inmates that if the train that passed the prison just after midnight, if the light from that train shined on you, that you would be released either through pardon or death, and they believed either was preferable to remaining in prison in Sugarland. And that's where that song came from, and it's become a legendary song recorded by many artists, including Creedence Clearwater Revival. But that song came from Fort Bend County and Huddie Ledbetter's experience with the railroads in Fort Bend County. I was only really able to cover just a little bit of the impact of railroads on American popular music and the music industry. Railroads are so important to American history that we often just take them for granted, don't even think about how they impacted this. Like railroads, without railroads you wouldn't have the American sports industry. Like Major League Baseball came about because these teams could travel long distances and play other cities. So there's so many aspects of American culture like popular music that railroads just wouldn't come to mind, but railroads really shaped the industry and the music that we have today.
That's a wrap on our news for this week. Thank you for joining us. For everyone here at Stafford Weekly News, I'm Randall Williams. May all your news be good news. This program was produced on the Stafford campus of Houston Community College.